Hey Becky, can you hear me?
Hello, yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you awesome.
Cool, good.
How are you doing? Greetings from Brazil.
I'm good, yeah.
Uh, Thanks a lot for joining me.
Oh, no problem. It's good to be here.
All right. You've been here in Brazil last year, playing with Merciful Fate on Summer Breeze,
Yes.
which is now the
hmm
Bangers opener. How was being here? Was that your first time here in Latin America?
So yeah, that was my first. Yes, that trip we did Chile and Brazil. That was my first time in South America, and yeah, it was great. Really lovely, great fans. An awesome response from the audience, and yeah, I just really admire the dedication that everyone has to the bands that come through there because I guess you don't get as many bands come through to Brazil as compared to America and compared to how we have in Europe. So yeah, it's great that people do make the effort to come when the bands do come through.
Cool. I have like mostly just big bands. Um,
Yeah.
and each year that passes, we have less smaller bands, probably because it's been economically very hard to keep big tours here in South America. All right. Did you have time to visit the cities or just played and had to take the plane to the next gig?
We didn't have a lot of, well, I guess we did have time, but we didn't have much opportunity to venture out too much. Like, we looked around Sao Paulo on one of the days. Um, there's like a big cathedral and that we went to look at, and that was cool. So a little bit of sightseeing, but not as much as I would have liked. I think the rest of the band have done quite a bit of sightseeing over there. How many years, like 40, 45 years of
Oh
touring.
yeah.
And so they've kind of seen it all, but for me, it was all quite new. So I went with the crew on one of the days, and we had a bit of a day out to look at some interesting areas of the city. But I would have liked to have had a bit more time. But that's the thing when you're touring, it's the priority is obviously the show, and the tour manager just wants to make sure you're looked after as best as possible. They don't want to let you out of your sight for too long. So yeah, we didn't actually get that much time to explore, but I did enjoy the festival on the days we weren't playing or rehearsing. I managed to go and see the other days on the festival.
Cool. Do you listen to any Brazilian metal?
I'm sure there have been some bands that I've come across that are from Brazil. Are Nervosa and Crypta, are they from
Yeah, they're from
Brazil?
Brazil. They're from Brazil.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. No, I love them. They tour the UK quite a bit, and I always see them when they come through. Both bands are really great. So it's great that you guys have a good output of like women in metal, which is cool. We don't have enough of that over here already, to be honest. And I know the bands are kind of linked in their history, but I don't know. It gives a good representation. It's a good thing coming out of Brazil that you've got that kind of thing going on. That's really cool.
Cool. Yeah. And I have Sepultura as well.
Oh, Sabotura, of course. Yes, yes, I love Sabotura.
And how is King Diamond? Is he a nice guy?
Oh, lovely. Yes, yeah, really cool. Yeah, he's very talkative, very friendly. He loves meeting fans. He loves meeting new people, and I feel like uh, he wants to make everyone as happy and comfortable as possible. And once he gets to know someone, then he likes kind of keeping them around. He keeps people quite close to him, I think. Once there's some trust established, then he likes to invest in the same people. He's not someone who's always seeking out new people to befriend. I guess from such a long time in the limelight, meeting so many different people, it's something that naturally happens. But yeah, like he was very kind to me when we first met and I first went on tour. So I didn't know any of the band before that, and yeah, whenever we did get to chat and hang out, he was just yeah, great stories that he has. So it was always good fun to speak to him.
Yes. Cool. All right. Next one. I watched the Back to the Beginning streaming last weekend, And I saw on your stories that you were there and had the chance to watch Black Sabbath for the last time. How was this
Yes.
experience?
It was amazing, so good. That is really probably going to be the most memorable gigs I'll have ever watched, for sure. Like I can't think of anything that comes even close of all the shows that I've seen. Like I the just the state of the lineup, like such amazing bands all in one day. And what was quite nice was actually the short sets. I mean, it has to be that short because you're getting so many bands in one day. But you know, bands that I wasn't as familiar with, it was great to just stand there and watch them do their two biggest hits plus a Black Sabbath cover or something, and then they're gone. And it's like, oh, that's a good like taster of another band that I wouldn't normally go out of my way to see. But like watching them in that context, I haven't had a moment to let my mind wander. I'm just focused completely on the band, and then such a quick changeover. And then you've got another band and another band. So, you know, it was hard to find time to take a break and just, you know, pop to the bar or something. But yeah, a really amazing day. And yeah, when Ozzy came out on his throne, I mean, I wasn't expecting him to sing really much at all. But, you know, to get as many songs as we did was fantastic, and it was just great to see him so just so moved by the whole thing. Seemed so happy to be there, and I think, you know, a lot of people are quite sad to see him in that state, like the how unwell he is and that he wants to do more. But I don't know. I thought it was really cool to still see him, that he had that dedication to his music, that he wants to do it again, and he, you know, he definitely wanted to be there. Nobody pushed him or anything. So yeah, like the Aussie set was amazing, and then Black Sabbath, just incredible. I just wish it'd been a bit longer for their set, because I've only watched them once before. What year was that? Like 2015, I think.
2013 and 2018 they toured.
Yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. I think it was 2015, Hellfest. So it's around that time. Yeah, and you know, I wish I'd savored that moment more then. But now, you know, 10 years on, I managed to watch, you know, four more songs. I can't remember how many they did. But yeah, like it was really cool. And Geezer has still absolutely got the bass playing ability. He sounds amazing. Tony also was really holding everything together. And you know, I'm still impressed with Bill. Like you can tell he's not been well enough to like play like he used to, but because he was such an incredible drummer. But just, I don't know, seeing them together again, doing everything to make the show happen was really inspiring. And you know, I can forgive a lot of sound not being perfect and not as it was, doesn't have the, I guess, the same energy as it did in their prime, but has a different energy. And like everyone was like stunned into like not silence. Everyone was cheering and stuff, but everyone was just hanging on every note that they played and just so happy to be there. So yeah, like such an amazing gig. I'm so glad that I managed to be there in person for that show.
Yeah, so it's 10 hours of concert, right?
Sorry.
So it's 10 hours of concert, I guess.
Yes,
Isn't
yeah, yeah. I can't believe my feet managed to stay stood up all that time. Yeah, you know, we got to the queue for like 10 or half past 10, I think. Yeah, started queuing outside the venue, and then with the music started about 1 p.m. and then I think they went right up to the live music curfew, like half past 10. And yeah, like really great to. It wasn't as big a venue as I thought it was going to be. Like I haven't been to many football grounds, and I haven't been to many gigs on football grounds. So I was picturing bigger, because most outdoor shows I've been to have been like massive festival, and so you know you're always really far away from the stage. But yeah, even in general standing, where which is what my tickets were, you could still see everything pretty well, and it didn't feel like a huge sea of people. It felt, you know, I mean, it was a lot of people, but 40,000. But it still felt somewhat like super special.
yes, I can bet. I wish I could be there. But I did watch a Black Sabbath 2 times, but now with Bill Ward, unfortunately. But seeing this concert, I could see that he was not in shape to do that. But that was beautiful, very emotional.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about new stuff now. Fury
Mhm.
has just released two new singles from the upcoming album. Interceptor and what's gonna be. Could you talk a bit about those two new singles, the videos, and what we can expect from this new material?
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, we've released the first single, Interceptor, and that's also the name of the album that's coming out in September. So Interceptor was, I don't know, I guess we wanted to do something that like the old school fans would immediately latch onto and be like, yeah, this is Fury. This is like but it's kind of the new version of Fury because over the years we've evolved our sound, we've added a lot more vocals, there's a lot more going on in terms of like melodies and harmonies for the vocals. So this is the first album that we're releasing with Naya as an official member. So now we have two lead vocalists, whereas before we had one lead vocalist and then we kind of had kind of a guest backing vocalist, and
The first
there'll
time
be
I
a little
see
bit
that
more.
on a metal band, two lead
Yeah.
vocals. It's very cool live.
Yes, yeah, like I think it doesn't happen enough really. Like I guess because metal is usually a lot more uh, instrumental, I suppose, like more on guitar solos, more on guitar riffs. But like vocals is still such a big part of metal. Like it's what a lot of people really like latch onto when they're listening. They're thinking about the lyrics, they're thinking about that vocal melodies and great harmonies that have been in so many bands that have inspired us. So yeah, like moving to having dual lead vocals has been I don't know, we're just trying new things, and I think it's really working. It makes us a bit more the new show's a bit more unique, and the new album something a little bit different. I guess like the music is more hard rock than metal in this new one, but there's definitely enough for any metalhead to like, there's a bunch of tracks that you'd be really into. So yeah, the first song, Interceptor, more Julian singing and more Naya doing like backing vocals and harmonies and stuff. And then we released What's It Gonna Be just on last Friday, and that's with Naya singing lead vocals. So that has more of a kind of just rocky feel. But some of the future ones are, the same song and two lead vocals. It's not going to be like one is doing the lead and one is doing the backing. It's like an interplay between the two vocal timbres. So that's going to be really. I'm really interested to see how the fans respond. So far, it's been really good, really positive. Hearing Naya taking more lead vocal position. But yeah, like I think it's going to be interesting to see what people think about the rest of the album. So we've got another single coming out in a couple more weeks, and then the full album will be out on the 5th of September.
Cool. The last single is very good. The chorus is
Oh,
incredible.
thank you. Oh, good, good. Yeah, we're this is the first time as well that we signed to a label. So we signed to a Danish label called Mighty Music, and it's we don't know what to expect exactly because we've never been signed before, but it's looking like it's doing great things for us so far. Like we've been able to reach more people, and I don't know, we're able to do things that we've never been able to like access before, and we can leave them to do more stuff so we can focus on what we need to do. And I don't know, everything seems a lot more organized with this album release than it has been on previous ones because we've had someone say you need to do this by now and this has to happen, and someone who's experienced in releasing many like dozens, maybe hundreds of albums before, they've been overseeing that process, and now we're like, oh, okay, we need to do that, sure, whatever you want, that's cool, you're the boss. So yeah, like it's been good to work with a label for the first time, and so I don't know. I think it's making it a little bit different for some of the fans that have been with us for a long time, because we really appreciate those guys. They've been they've been the whole reason why we've been able to continue. But they've seen the change of how it's going to be between being independent and being signed. So obviously there are more overheads in a way because that label needs to make money on their thing. They have a separate job and they're not doing it for love. We've always been doing it for love and because we just don't know how to stop. Like we can't stop making music. We love touring and we love making albums, so it's just naturally what we have to do. But that is not the interest of a label. The interest of a label is like we want to push the band as much as possible because ultimately they need to make money, and we will be making money as well eventually. But the priority for them is different to our priorities, and I think we all understand that. We're kind of adults about that, and our fans, I think they get it as well, which is great. But things aren't done as much on a like tiny budget as they were a few albums ago. So yeah, things are changing, but it's a good positive change.
Cool. How about the production of the videos? I think they were recorded in the same place.
Yeah. So the videos, both of them we filmed actually in a day and at a venue called KK Steel Mill. So KK Downing from Judas Priest and KK wait KK's Priest, yeah, his current band.
Biggest Priest, yeah.
Yeah, he has a venue in Wolverhampton, and it's a great little independent venue. I say little, it's big, but it's yeah, we hired it for the day, and we wanted to do this cool thing with the screens that they have there, and then but so that was just for the Interceptor video, and then we spoke to our video guy Elliot from what's his thing called Lion Island Media, and he said we could probably do 2 videos in a day. I've got an idea for something else, and yeah, that was great for us because it meant we only had to hire the venue for one day. But yeah, so we did one where it was we got someone to design stuff on the screen behind, so as we're playing there's things going on the screens, and then the other one it's like a kind of feedback loop of the video, so someone is filming and then there's a bit of a delay and then it goes to the screen, so as you move you behind the kind of yourself behind you moves but delayed, and then it's going on infinite.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's lots of you like repeating, and so yeah, that was pretty cool. Like it was different. I didn't know that was the concept we were going to go for, but it totally worked with the I don't know, with the idea of the song, and yeah, and so it went really well. And we've got music videos coming for the next 2 singles as well. But they're both a bit different. We filmed them in different locations, and we're pretty excited to drop those in I don't know, in like 3 weeks. I think the next one. I'll wait to announce the title of that one. But yeah,
Yeah. And when will the album be released?
the Friday the 5th of September. So we start the tour on the 4th of September in the UK. But yeah, we'll have the vinyls available from the start of the tour. Like, shouldn't be a problem.
All right. Follow timeline now. I want to know how you got into music back when you were still a kid. If you had any family influences or support, and how you got into the world of metal.
So I've always been really into music, like even as a child. But of course, I just listened to whatever my parents listened to, and whatever was on the radio. So I enjoyed a lot of pop music. I always preferred older music. Like I really liked what my parents were putting on. Like I liked ABBA and the Bee Gees and Michael Jackson and stuff like this. And yeah, like I guess I don't know. I just thought all of it was really cool. I was really fascinated with Michael Jackson in particular because I don't know, he was just very different and just like as a performer, so unique, and the songs had so much range of styles, and like very upbeat and then very emotional. The music videos were great. I thought the whole thing was like really fascinating to me. I think yeah, like I was into music a lot more than I think the average child. I mean, I know lots of kids like music, but I was like really obsessed. When I got into music, I was like obsessed. And then I started learning piano when I was a child because I don't know, I wanted to do something musical, but it really never stuck with me. I was no good at practicing, and I found everything really difficult, and I'd give up. And then I'd miss it, and I'd start again, and then I'd give up, and I'd start again so many times. But then, like when I came to like age like 13 or 12, 11 or 12 maybe, we got like the internet suddenly became quite common for people to have in their houses. We also got like cable TV and like extra channels and stuff that had music, music stations. And so and there was a much bigger variety. So before we just listened to the radio, there was just like Top of the Pops and like, top 40 stuff like listen to. But yeah, then there was like music videos. There's a channel dedicated just to punk rock. There's a channel dedicated to metal and to rock, and that meant I could, I don't know, expand the kind of music I listen to and really hone in on like what am I actually, I don't know, what speaks to me the most. And yeah, it turned out to be punk and metal and rock. And yeah, like I guess my parents listened to a bit of rock. My dad's really into Hawkwind, and I think when I kind of discovered that like Hawkwind had Lemmy in it, and then he left, formed Motorhead, and those things like merging together, I was like, okay, cool. Like this band Motorhead that I keep seeing videos of is the same person that my dad is listening to, and he's listening to Hawkwind. That made me suddenly a bit more interested. I wanted to hear about all of the history of the kind of the metal and rock and psychedelic and all this kind of stuff that was going on in like the 70s. And probably around that time, pulled out one of my dad's vinyls that was Black Sabbath, and I just thought the artwork, the cover was so fascinating, like so cool. There's definitely like I don't know. I was always into things that like darker. Like I loved horror movies and horror novels as a kid. But yeah, merging that with music, putting that on, scared me so much, and I just thought that was great. So yeah, like that really helped. Having the those music channels, recording on cassettes off the TV, like all those singles, figuring out what they are, going on the internet and looking the band up, trying to learn as much about them as possible, and then eventually finding like online message boards where I could speak to other people that like the same thing, and then they'd say, hey, you like Metallica, like, well, they covered Mercyful Fate, why don't you check out and listen to them? And then through that I discovered Mercyful Fate and so many bands, and my record collection started to expand as I discovered more of these old school metal bands, and yeah, that really became what I was focusing on in my musical interests.
No, I decided to pick the bass to play. Few people actually picked the bass.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that bit. I don't really, I don't know, I guess like I always found the bass players to be kind of fascinating in a band. Like Lemmy I found very interesting. Like the Darkness was very big there, like when I was first discovering music, and I thought like Frankie from the Darkness always looked really cool. He had like cool hairstyle and a Thunderbird bass, and Metallica, like Cliff Burton, one of the Day on the Green, For Whom the Bell Tolls video was on TV quite a lot, and I was just like, what's that? Like, that's not a guitar, it's something else. And so that kind of interested me. And then my sister started playing guitar, and some of my friends at school started playing guitar, and I was like, yeah, like I want to play guitar as well, but is there something else I could do that would be more useful? And I didn't really want to get a whole drum kit, so I was like, well, let's see about this bass thing. And as soon as I got one, I was just locked in. Like I had no problems with forgetting to practice and not having long enough practice sessions and giving up or anything. I would just come home and just want to play my bass all day. And all I wanted for like my birthday or Christmas or anything was like another bass book, like a tab book or a chord book or something like that. And yeah, we had a few bass lessons for a while, and yeah, I made quite a lot of quick progress, because I think the music, the background in playing piano really helped just understanding music, and I was able to like read things. And once someone like pointed out to me, well, that's a C and that's a G and that's A, then I could just work the rest out for myself. So I made a lot of quick progress, and I found it very rewarding to play bass. So it was really just an instrument that I don't know, it just worked with me, and I never got bored of it for a very very long time, and still not bored of it. There's still so much that I need to learn.
Awesome. All right. Skip to the next one. Next month you're having a big tour in the US with Delilah Bon, which you used to play in the band Hands Off Gretel, which is an incredible, incredible band. Could you tell me a bit about this tour, about your relation with Delilah, and about the period you were in the band Hands Off Gretel?
Okay. Yeah. So, Hands Off Gretel, kind of grunge, alternative, punk, riot girl kind of band. And so I think their first album was maybe 2016 or something around that time. And then they were starting to record their new album, with their latest album called I Want the World. And around this time, their bass player left, and so they were looking for someone to step in for just a few festival shows and things. And I was like, yeah, cool, I can do some of that. And got to know them, started playing with them, just absolutely fell in love with the songs that they were doing. Those songs from the first album, Burn the Beauty Queen, are just like really original, and I don't know, they just really kind of spoke to me in terms of the lyrics as well, and just kind of the raw energy of it was really like really interesting to learn the songs. And then they started thinking, well, we've got to find a permanent bass player now, and they started putting the feelers out and advertising. But as they were kind of getting applications in, and when we were playing together more, I was just filling in at the time. We were like, actually, this is working really well. I feel really welcomed into the band, and it feels like we're all very dedicated to making this work. And so yeah, I joined the band, and I think it's really amazing. Like Lauren, the songwriter, I don't know, she wrote some of these songs when she was like, I don't know, 14, 15, and I think they're just incredible. She must have such a creative, a creative nature, I suppose. And yeah, so I was really inspired to be a part of it. They had finished their album just between the three of them, so the guitarist, drummer, and Lauren, singer and guitarist. Between them, they play bass really well. The drummer was a great bass player, to be fair. He recorded a lot of the bass parts. So I joined like after they'd finished the album, and yeah, we toured for a few years, and then like the lockdown happened. So COVID 2020,
Horrible
everything.
time.
Yeah, like because we were on the verge of like, I don't know, I think things were about to go like really well for us. There was a lot of like labels interested and agents, and a lot of people were suddenly finally picking up on the band after like many years working on it. And yeah, we had to cancel everything. And then during this lockdown, so I focused on mostly Fury stuff, and Lauren, the singer, started her new project called Delilah Bon. And because it was like a solo project, it was just her name and her music, and it's quite different. It was more like hip hop, R&B, and with a few other genres mixed in. Because she was just doing it herself, I think that plus the kind of way she'd already established herself with Hands Off Gretel, things moved really fast. So during this lockdown, she was getting doing really well on like TikTok and YouTube videos and Facebook and Instagram, and things just really blew up for Delilah Bon. And so when venues reopened and we did the last tour as Hands Off Gretel, like Hands Off Gretel was still here doing really well, but Delilah Bon, the demand had suddenly kind of overtaken it, and it was like, well, this is kind of easier to push. It's going the momentum is huge. So we decided that would be the last Hands Off Gretel tour. And then Lauren was going to focus on Delilah Bon for the future. So, I mean, there were some demos of another Hands Off Gretel album. They still exist. I mean, there's a chance we could come back and do it again. But we are on hiatus. We don't know how long that's going to be for, but like there's no plan to tour or release an album at the moment. And then, yeah, so now Delilah Bon is doing her tour. She's done the UK and Europe, so I did some shows with her back in March. So yeah, like at the start of this year, she kind of messaged me and was just like, I need a band. Like I need a bass player to do some shows, especially London, because it's the biggest show so far. It's sold out, 600 people, and I really need like someone I can trust to come and play. And I was like, you know what, that sounds like a lot of fun. Let's do it. So yeah, so I did the short European tour and the London show, and we had such a great time. And they have such, the Delilah Bon has such a nice audience. They're so supportive and passionate, and it really feels like, I don't know, kind of a social movement. Like it's political. It feels important, and like these girls are watching in the audience. They really feel like they've got a great place there where they feel safe, they feel seen, and I don't know. I think that that's very important, and I wanted more of that in my life. So when Lauren was talking about doing another Delilah Bon tour, and she was going to America, she was like, "Well, what do you think about coming with me?" Because initially she was just going to do America, just vocals and drums and backing track. But we had such a great time on the tour that it made sense for me to come along. I really wanted to, and I guess for her, like maybe because I've toured America before, I've got a bit more experience in how all that works. So yeah, she asked me if I wanted to come along, and so yeah, we're doing 3 weeks in a bunch of states, a whole bunch of states, not all of them. We're not going everywhere, but it's her first time over there, so we're just testing the water to see how that first tour goes, and then hopefully we might be back another time.
Awesome. Do you have any Hands of Gretel songs on the set list, or it's full?
It's all Delilah Bon songs. Yeah, yeah. It's something I was thinking about. I wondered if like Lauren would want to do that sometime, because now, before the Delilah Bon set was more heavily backing tracks. She used to have like it would be her drums, and a DJ and a bass player. So and a lot of the time the bass player did a lot of dancing as well. So sometimes there wasn't bass, but yeah, now it's like there's bass guitar on pretty much every track. There's in Europe and the UK, there's live electric guitar on every track, so you have a full band, and you could do Hands Off Gretel songs. But I think it's right to keep that kind of separation, because out of respect of the other members as well. Like if we wanted to do it again, I think we'd want to do it properly. Like she's within her rights to do those songs. They're her songs, either way. But yeah, like maybe it would be a case of like waiting until the time is right and doing it all properly, and seeing which of the members from the original, the last lineup would want to do it, and go from there. We'll see.
It's another moment, yeah. Last question. You told this story a couple of times already, but it's always a good story. Could you tell me about how you were invited to join Merciful Fate?
All right, yeah, cool. Yeah, no, it's a great story to tell. So yeah, I'm happy to do that. So this was in 2022, and Merciful Fate had just done their first shows back in like 23 years that they've been, not touring. Because the last album was the Nine album in 1999,
Exactly.
and then yes, they took a hiatus then for 23 years. So they came back just to do a tour, first European tour, and at that time they had Joey Vera playing bass for them. But they then had after that an American tour, and Joey wasn't available to do the American leg of the tour, so they were looking for bass players, and they had found some of my videos that I posted. So I post covers of just like cool metal songs that I know and like playing. I just kind of do it to just bring more attention to bass guitar, because sometimes the bass is a little bit buried in the mix, and I think they just need a bit more, I don't know, a few more people to pay attention to what the bass is doing. So yeah, I always used to post lots of little clips of me playing certain riffs, and so they'd come across my videos when they were looking for people to play bass for them. And yeah, they I guess they were interested in picking someone different, like I don't know, someone who maybe was unknown in the scene, and not borrowing someone from just another band, because availability is an issue. This was 2022. A lot of bands were suddenly touring again, and so there was a lot of like clashing everything going on at once. And so, yeah, when they came across my videos, they were like, well, yeah, this person likes the kind of old school heavy metal that we do, got the right kind of, the look works, the playing style works, fingerstyle player, which Timmy Hansen, the original bass player, he also played with fingers, plays with a Rickenbacker, which, the later bass player, Charlie D'Angelo, he played with a Rickenbacker as well. So they were like, well, this is kind of a perfect meld of the two like most prominent bass players that have released music with Mercyful Fate. So maybe that was part of it. But yeah, they came to play in the UK. Their only show was at Bloodstock Festival, and that week I didn't have a Bloodstock ticket, but I don't know, I just had this feeling like I really needed to go. And of course I've been a Mercyful Fate fan for many years, but that's the thing, like I don't buy festival tickets until closer to the time, because I don't know if I'm going to be playing with one of my bands and busy that weekend. So I hadn't bought a ticket yet, but I did buy one last minute, like that week. But I had no idea about this discussion that had happened, that they were looking at my profile and stuff. And so they were, so then they came to Bloodstock, and I was there just with my friends, hanging out, waiting to see Mercyful Fate that evening. And then someone approaches me, Sophie from Painkiller Clothing, and she says, I need to bring you to meet someone. You need to come and meet Livia. And I'm like, who's Livia? I don't know Olivia, but yeah, I'll come and meet Livia. And turns out Livia is King Diamond's wife. So she was there backstage. So I'm just being brought backstage at Bloodstock Festival, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Who is Livia? Like, this is very exciting. And then I realized, like, I'm probably going to meet Mercyful Fate. Like, they're going to be here getting ready right now. And then, yeah, they bring me over to King Diamond, and he's just like, hey, like, nice to meet you. And then he says, like, do you know what you're here for? And I'm just like, I have no idea. But thank you so much for inviting me here. Like, it's great to meet you. Like, I've been a big Mercyful Fate fan for like so many years. And yeah, and I'm just appreciative that I can come and meet you guys, and I'm looking forward to the show tonight. And he said, like, well, we need you to come on tour with us. And I'm like, well, why? What do you need me for? Like, what's going on? And he's like, well, to play bass, obviously. And I was just like, what? Like, I don't know, at first I didn't know what to expect. I was kind of happy to go on tour and do anything. Like, yeah, you need someone to like sling merch, or like, help set things up, or I don't know, they're a very theatrical band. Is there something I need to do on the stage or whatever? Like performance wise, like they used to have like a cross and someone like on it and stuff, fire going on and all this kind of stuff. Like, yeah, cool, I'm up for that. But no, it was bass. It was just for bass, and that was even more up for that. That was like amazing. And they said they'd looked at my schedule and the shows I had, and it looked like I might have like a gap in November because they're doing September and October because they're doing an American tour then, and they'd like me to come. And I was just like, I don't even need to look at my calendar. I'm going, like, no matter what. Like, this is the most amazing opportunity you could ever give someone. Especially for me, I've toured a little in Europe, and I've toured the UK a lot. I've toured like a lot of gigs, but nothing near this level. It's always been like small venues, in the back of a van, staying in like on people's sofas and like friends' spare rooms and stuff like this. So to be doing a tour with like an actual bus, a crew, and all these like very exciting different things, I was just like, absolutely, yes, I will do this. So from then they sent me the set list. I started working on it, and then I had a month to learn the set list, and then I went over to Texas, where the first show was. We did a sound check and ran most of the set all together. I did most of the set instrumentally, all the set instrumentally with everyone but King. But actually, the first time playing the whole thing through with vocals was at the first gig. So I mean, I was stunned and like I couldn't believe it because I couldn't believe they would just trust someone so willingly. Someone who's not worked at that level of the industry before, and I don't know, someone that isn't really trusted within their circles. Like they don't know me, and like they don't really know anyone who does know me. So I was just, it was a big surprise. And apparently they'd only decided that they wanted to offer me the job that week, and that they'd heard that I was going to be at Bloodstock Festival and decided that they'd ask me then and there at the festival. And so I got to watch the band perform from the side of stage, and it was just like the coolest night ever. And then when I came back to my campsite where all my friends are at like 2 a.m, they were like, Becky, like, where the hell have you been? We lost you at like 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening, and then we haven't heard a thing from you. And I'm like, you're not going to believe what just happened. And also they said like, well, we heard that your name, we saw that your name was on the screens. So they'd actually been trying to contact me while I was at the festival on like Instagram and maybe on Facebook as well. But that festival has very little signal, like internet signal. So I hadn't really been checking my messages, especially on Instagram, because like nothing was loading. So I was like, whatever. But they'd been trying to contact me that day, and I hadn't seen anything. So they'd resorted to putting my name on so the main stage has screens on the side because it's a big outdoor festival. They put my name on the screen saying, we need to find Becky Baldwin, please bring her here. And so yeah, when my friend Sophie from Painkiller Clothing, when she found me, it was because they'd been like trying to find me for a while. And no one knew what it was about. They were like, well, who is Becky Baldwin, and why is her name on the screen, and what is going on? And then they kind of brought me out to say hello to the audience, which I was just very overwhelmed by. And and that was all completely real. And then it happened. The tour was real. I really didn't believe that it would actually come together. I was like, something's got to go wrong. Like nobody gets this much good luck.
Yeah.
But yeah, it happened, and it was fantastic. And then so I was a dep at that point, just filling in for that tour. But then I did the Mexico shows that year as well, because Joey was also busy for them. And then 2 years later, we did the Brazil and Chile shows. And Joey was busy with Armored Saint for them as well. And then at that point, they were like, well, we need a permanent bass player for the new album. And it'd be good to have someone who's available for all shows. And of course, Joey, like Armored Saint is like his band. He's very important that he has to be there. So, but I can give Merciful Fate higher priority, I guess, because Fury can survive without me, but I think Armored Saint can't survive without Joey. So, So then they asked me to join in 2024, like the start of 2024. I joined the band officially, and we did 2 shows, and we'll be working on some new music very soon.
That's incredible. It's 25 years without new music from Merciful Fate.
Yes.
That's very cool. Very cool. And it's the weirdest invitation for a band I've ever seen in my life. It's very different.
Yeah. This is I don't know, I guess it's very a different time for musicians. There's more focus on the online realm, and it I don't love it. I don't love social media really. I appreciate what it's done for me and for my career. It's been I have that to thank. That's the only way they would have ever discovered me. Like if you're not doing social media, you just have to know the right people, be in the right place at the right time, and be moving in the right circles, the right kind of networking. And like for a lot of people, that's impossible. That's like you can't just invite yourself to the right places. You don't just automatically know how to approach the right people. But through social media, it does equalize the playing field a little bit more. You can put, even with a very like basic equipment, you can put music out there. You can showcase your abilities, and people will see your music and your videos or whatever you put out there. You don't know who's going to see it. So actually, like the person who saw my videos was Hank Sherman of Merciful Fate, and he could recommend my videos to King, and that's a good way for someone to, like, I don't know, judge that person on who they are. Like they go, well, I can see how well you play. I can see that you'd be fine with playing our set. I can kind of see what you're like as a person. Just kind of in the talking and the interviews and stuff that you do. So yeah, I don't know. I guess it is kind of nice that you don't need to. I don't know. You don't have to just exist in the right place to know these people, because you know the rest of the band are from Denmark and Sweden, and I'd never been to Denmark or Sweden. So yeah, what's the chances of ever meeting them?
Okay.
I don't just hang around backstage at like festivals and venues. You know, I wasn't that kind of level of I wasn't established enough to be invited to those kind of places, so it just wouldn't happen. So yeah, it's really I'm very appreciative of how social media has really helped my career, and I'm glad that I put so much time into it, and that it got seen by the right people.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Beck, that was an honor having you here. Would you like to send a last message to people that will be listening to this interview in the Doom community?
Okay, yeah. So if you know this is the first time you've heard of me, please follow my social media. You can go on my website, beckybaldwinbass.com, and from there you'll find my social media like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and I have a merch store linked to that website. And yeah, you can get like t-shirts and patches and things. My gig list is on there, so you can see all the shows I have coming up with Fury, Delilah Bon, and you know any other bands that I you know guest for. And yeah, like on there you will find links to all kinds of things. If you're interested in the new Fury album, that's going to be available. You can order it from Target Shop and from Plastic Head Megastore, I think the name is. But yeah, like go and have a look on my website. You'll find links to all kinds of things, and I really hope you enjoy following me.
Thanks a lot. The doors will be always opened, and I hope to have you here again the next seasons.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Thank you for having me here. Thanks.